Pluto direct in Capricorn, the dissolution of reality and catalyzing of change. Pluto, the cosmic power broker, moves forward on September 16th, bringing forth more reveals about the extent of reform necessary for humankind to move into alignment. His sojourn through Capricorn, which began in 2008, will continue through 2024 and will decimate all institutions, governments, and nations not operating in integrity. Hence, pretty much the entire Western world. As Pluto reveals the dark side of the sign, we will see more intensely the way that power corrupts and that our current economic and political systems are based on false premises rather than natural law. For Americans and Brits, who not only share a common lineage, but also a twinship concerning astrology as they both have strong Capricorn placements, this will mean a total 180 in terms of policy and values. In our last segment, we mentioned that the U.S. is now entering its 8th Saturn return. While Saturn is a rancorous curmudgeon, he is a lightweight when compared to the strength and effects of Pluto, the devil shadow destroyer incarnate, and as we approach the late 20-teens, we will meet our shadow full-blown as we go through our country's first Pluto return of 250 years. With Saturn, we have our hand slapped and get depressed. With Pluto, it's a full-blown soul-whipping and harder than weaning oneself off heroin. The phrase bandied about in astrology circles is with Pluto, you feel like dying, but you're not lucky enough to die. So, as we can imagine, it's going to be a difficult transition for most Americans or believers in the American narcoleptic dream. And right now, we are still in the preliminary stages as Pluto has been acting as a free agent or dredging up the past in his two-step with Saturn. The crossroads we've all been waiting for, courtesy of Pluto square Uranus, are not yet fully upon us and will begin in earnest in 2012 and continue through 2015. For spiritualists, it's the age of enlightenment. For rapturists, it's the end of times. And for those in between, it's just going to feel like the life as you know it is over. And while preceding the actual ingress of Pluto into Capricorn, the tragic events of 9/11 bred the seeds of disillusionment and paradigm shifting. The chart of the event 10 years ago does connect to the current Plutonian cycle and is the canary in the mine. While flagrantly catastrophic, it is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of revealing the lengths to which those in power will go to control and manipulate the public. And while conspiracy theories around the bombing have circulated for years, it is likely that the real truth will be exhumed and acknowledged in the next decade, and this will set in motion a massive mainstream backlash against the government and its fabricated war machine. The world's a stage, and some horrifying illusions have been foisted on the public throughout America's history, and as we approach our Pluto return in 2020, there will be no place for the guilty perpetrators to hide. In mythology, Pluto is most closely aligned with the Greek gods Hades and Dionysius and Hindu deities Shakti and Kali, where death and destruction give birth to new life. So when filtered through the sign of Capricorn, Pluto will decimate the calcified and corrupt forms of the so-called establishment, Capricorn, to make way for a more flexible, fluid, inclusive model of world governance. But enough with the pretty metaphors. How will this play out over the next 13 years? Continuing financial decline, 2008 was just the beginning, crumbling infrastructure, redefining of educational institutions, even more extreme climate change due to industrialization, and the fracturing of society into those who are awake and those who are asleep. In addition to the US and Britain, other countries also affected by Pluto and Capricorn are China, India, Afghanistan, New Zealand, the Vatican, and the sovereign nation of New York City. Long term, we are looking at nothing more, nothing less than a total reconstitution of our reality as the truth of the fiction of the American dream becomes even more glaringly clear. For many of us, on a personal or professional level, long-standing issues will come to a head, and we will choose or be forced to make significant changes in our lives. This is particularly true if you have an angle or personal planet at the early degrees of Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, or Aries. Whatever happens has been brewing underneath the surface for a very long time, and the combination of cosmic forces now make it impossible to ignore. It is time to take back your projections and step into the authorship of your own life. Hold on to your hats, it's going to be a bumpy ride is an understatement. Judging from the prequel, we ain't seen nothing yet. Despite the serious nature of this episode, it's not all doom and gloom up ahead. Astrology is one of the many tools that can help us understand and navigate the current times. In future episodes, we will continue to intersperse global trends with more individual concerns. Please show your support by rating, commenting, or subscribing to this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching!